guys, I have a bunch of knowledge to share with y'all on what I have learned in the last year around tying fishing knots as a relatively beginner angler. I may have been fishing since I was a kid, but not at any serious level outside the last year or so, 2 years maybe. It all kind of started when I went to Yellowstone with the family and just took a little basic Shakespeare fishing rod with me and caught a huge cutbow, cutthroat rainbow trout hybrid. And cooking that up for the family really made a huge impact on me wanting to get into fishing as a pastime to kind of relieve stress and as something also to bond with my son, bond with my children, both of my children actually. The wife, unfortunately, has zero interest in this stuff, so I don't think I'll ever be able to get her out doing much of any fishing anytime soon. Maybe in the future, we'll see. But anyway, I wanted to do some videos on some really simple knots that I've learned to really rely on in the last year, especially over this winter as I've been tying lures and practicing knots and building rigs and building flies and things. And I just really wanted to share with you what I have found to be the easiest to tie, that works and is pretty reliable, and you can do it while you're on your kayak and you're jumping around while you're pedaling at the same time, you know. So let's just dive into it. The first knot I really want to tie for you is what I'm going to tie if I am connecting a line to a large object. Like if I want to tie a line to my boat or to some other large unwieldy object that you really can't get a loop around the way you would for a Palomar. I'll talk about a Palomar later. So I have myself this just a little gear hook and a piece of nylon line. So what you're going to do is you're going to feed your line through the eye of the gear you're wanting to tie to, like this. Grab the line, grab the lines, grab both lines together this way. Come around so that you're like this, where you have this loop here. And you want to bring this tag up through the loop, however many times you want to do. I'm just going to do 3 times since it's demonstration with nylon cord. And then you just basically crank it down like this, that you can then crank down. It's a jam knot. This is a really simple, easy to tie knot pretty quickly. You can tie this very fast, and because it's a jam knot, you can back it back out as well. So like that. So that's the first really good knot that I tie. And again, I use this for when I'm tying to something that's very large, bulky, and you can't get a Palomar around the edge of it. So where do I use the Palomar knot? Hooks, swivels, latches, any small terminal gear that I use in my main fishing rig. I'm going to try to use a Palomar. It's nice because it's also very easy to tie, and it really kind of has 2 points of contact on the object that you're tying to, because the way that you tie it, you have not just one line wrapped around the eye or whatever it is. You have 2. So let's dive right into it. So basically you just take your line and you bend it over on itself and you pass it through the eye of what you're tying to, then come through a loop that you make here, and then you take that loop and wrap it over the top and then crank it down like that. And that makes a nice tight knot with 2 lines of contact on the gear. That's really strong. And finally, how do I connect 2 lines together? So my main line is braid, but I want to have a nice section of mono there at the bottom, both to be less visible to the fish and to give a little bit of flexibility and stretch when a fish takes the hook. So I'm just going to tie either end of this single piece of nylon together. We start out with our lines crossing each other in opposite directions. And then we simply loop over one first. And just like we did with the uni knot, come through and then crank it down like this. Then you repeat the exact same thing with the other tag end. Come through, 1, 2, 3, crank down. My needle dress it a little bit sometimes. And then they simply slide together like this. And that is how you do a double uni knot. So, in summary, the uni knot, the Palomar knot, and the double uni knot. I use the uni knot to connect to a larger object that I cannot get a Palomar loop over. I use a Palomar knot to connect to anything smaller that I can. And then to connect two lines together, I use a double uni knot. Hope that helps all of you new anglers out there. Thanks for watching.